getting echo.
Bella's is lit up again.
Yep, we heard you sigh. We are live. We can hear the process of trying to turn on push to talk.
It's deep magic.
Okay. I think you fixed it, Bella? I don't hear anything from you right now. Did she mute herself completely?
Maybe. Bella, come back!
Bella, get back.
Alright. Well, I'm going to start us off. We're just going to do a quick recap anyway. So, last time, having arrived in the town of Arkne, on the shores of Deep Lurk Lake, the party has had a rather interesting time of it. You went to the Mellow Eel Tavern. There you partook of some of their strange dishes, mostly eel-themed. You met a turtle named Yar, who smacked of the sea, and swung in on a chandelier and showed you all the strange magic item that he picked up in a recent adventure. You were tired. You got rooms in Clayton's lodge, although you had to kind of share one big common room with everybody else. And then the next morning, you dealt with the Gesh, the curse that both Equitus and Bref have been suffering under. There was a great deal of excitement, a little intra-party conflict, and Equitus managed to escape a room at the Mellow Eel, where Bref, due to a series of shockingly bad rolls, did not, being anchored in place by the mighty Mavra. You tied him up and drugged him. It took several tries, several doses, to bring the mighty barbarian to his knees. But you did manage it. And he is having a fun time dreaming away the day in the Mellow Eel, in a room in the Mellow Eel. Meanwhile, Equitus, having escaped, several of you pursued him, which we'll come to in a moment. But nobody really expected Equitus to go back to the abandoned cabin, which had been randomly chosen by Bref as a meeting place as you guys woke up in Clayton's lodge. Turned out to contain a very strange, dark, shadowy presence, which caused you to flee the cabin, only for Equitus to return to it later, in secret. There, he met someone rather interesting, and had a disturbing conversation and made a bargain. And that is where we left things. At this particular moment, two of you have run out of the Mellow Eel in pursuit of Equitas. And one of you, namely Bella, I'm not quite sure what she was doing, actually. Possibly saying screw this and heading for the library. But
I think there was at least 1 or 2 people going to the library.
I was heading to the library on purpose. I was heading to the library on purpose. And give me a second to remember exactly what I was supposed to be doing.
Take your time. We'll come to that later. At the moment, we are dealing with Arkne and Krim, both of whom were trying to forestall any approach by Equitas to the Roadheart General Store. Arkne, you take to the air, flying over the heads of the simple folk of this town. You see guards pulling out crossbows, which in turn crackle with arcane energy. They stare at you in surprise as you go swooping overhead, over the roofs and through the smoke trails that rise out of the chimneys. It's quite an unusual sight, and they don't seem to like it very much. But some people point you out to their children, saying, "Look, look, that's an Aarakocra." You hear briefly as you go flying by. You come to the Roadheart General Store and find several people milling about in the kind of atrium area just outside it. And there's a bit of a commotion, although less of one than elsewhere. In fact, more than half of the people in this atrium don't react to you at all. But simply continue going about their business with their walking sticks, etc. The others are pointing you out to each other and speaking to one another. As you circle in on your curly feathered wings, what would you like to do?
I'd like to... I want to wait for Krim, because I should probably grab her as well. She's my ticket inside. But I left her behind like an idiot. Sorry, darling. So I think I'm just gonna... I'm gonna land on the roof and wait for her.
You land on the roof. There's a clickety-clack as your talons meet these clay tiles, which form the roof of the large building. It's kind of a wide, well-built construction. It's all on one floor, it seems like, and just kind of spreads out atop this low hill overlooking the lake.
Okay, so I'm gonna wait for Krim to get here, and then also keep an eye out in case Equitas comes by. Because I know he's coming here, because he knows where this is.
Okay.
He knows.
Make a perception roll.
Wiki.
Please.
$22.
22. You hear... you notice someone running inside the building. And then you hear some noises from within. Some metallic sound.
Crap.
With your very sharp hearing. I think the sound is probably coming up through the chimneys. Is where you're hearing it.
Okay.
Or an open window, perhaps. Krim.
Yes?
You have run out into the middle of the town square, your feet kicking up a bit of dust from the dirt that has dried since the recent snowfall. There's no sign of Equitus. The tiefling is not here. People are looking up as if they expect a person-sized dropping to come out of the sky, but they are not really paying much attention to you.
I'm really panicked, so I'm just running. Like,
Okay.
I'm trying to get to Roadheart General Store as
Okay.
fast as possible.
Okay. You run as flat out for Roadheart General Store. Back to M. Yes, so many players, Brand. Welcome, Brand. There are 8 players in this game right now. And they're all amazing. Every single one of them. Curls. Akiri, you, as there's commotion going on beneath you, did you want to do anything in response to that?
She's gonna, like, kind of, like, real twitchily, she's gonna, just, like, wow, I can't think of the word. Just, like, start pacing up and down the, like, the top of the roof. And, just keep an eye out, keep looking for Krim. And as soon as she sees Krim get decently close, she's gonna go join her on the
Well,
path.
you are kind of up on a hill, so it'll be a short time before you see Krim, actually.
Okay.
You have a good vantage point. You see someone run out from within the store. It appears to be a figure in dark clothing with a big hood and carrying this strange sword. It kind of has a slight curve to it, but the whole blade is kind of pitted and twisted with these odd bits of metal sticking out along the blade, along the line of the blade, almost like it was forged in zero gravity. It has like sort of like holes and bubbles in it, and this figure looks up at you from within this hood, and you can see he's wearing this kind of black armor with gold rivets. And he looks up at you and points the sword in your direction.
Akiri's just gonna look at him, do a double take, and then go, wait, no, wait, what?
Okay. You say, no, wait.
And then if I see Krim anywhere nearby, I'm jumping off the roof
Okay.
and going to go join her.
Krim is now here.
Oh, sweet. Can I see her, or?
Yes, you can see her. She is making her way through a kind of thick miasma of smoke and steam coming out of this building.
Okay, then I'm gonna go join her. I'm noping out of there. Real quick.
Okay. As you take off, the black cloaked figure runs up the wall and stands on the roof where you stood.
Akiri kind of looks at it and like, just like is momentarily astonished because that's freaking cool, but keeps.
He's huge! Okay, so Krim Akiri has just flown down toward you. Krim, I assume since you're running flat out, you're not keeping up the kind of disguise you had started out in this town with.
Nope.
So, do you guys, as you guys converge, what happens?
Krim, you're blind now, okay? And then she's gonna grab her hand.
I kind of dropped that, and people know now that, you know, I mean, it was a good plan, but, I mean, I have to abandon that at this point. Like, people have seen me running throughout the town.
But the people inside the place don't know that. Come on. You're our ticket inside there.
Okay, I guess. I don't know, sorry, I'm freaking out. Like,
Sam!
Like, literally everything, every single plan I thought of went to shit, but okay.
Yeah, nope, this is a new plan. It's a terrible plan, but it's a plan.
Okay, what do we do?
We're just gonna waltz up there and pretend that we need to find Fitzy. We need to make sure he's okay. Also, there's this guy who can run up walls, apparently.
Wait, what?
I know!
Is that seriously the only detail you're going to give me about this guy?
I mean, yeah, he's got a cool sword. He wears dark armor. It's kind of, I don't know, he's cool, I guess.
Was he trying to attack you?
Think he's really sweet, but like, other things to focus on right now.
As you come up the path, Krim, you can also see this person. He's standing atop the roof of Roadheart General Store, a black armored figure, the sword now sheathed, his hand resting upon the pommel.
Okay.
Tall, lean, wiry.
That's the guy!
I
It
mean,
was
I
really
can't
cool,
see him.
though.
I'm blind now.
Fair. Okay, yeah. Anyways, so, Krim, there's this really cool guy on the roof, but he ran up the walls, and I'm concerned, and also, it's really...
Okay. So, okay, we need to keep Aquitus from getting in here. We need to keep him from attacking Fitzuel, but we also need to... The plan kind of got rushed. We need to figure out if Fitzuel is bad or good. Because if he's bad, we can just we can let them kill him. But
right. I have a thing that I can use. It's called detect evil and good, and I think that might.
Okay. By the way, I've been whispering this to her. I'm smart enough not to be yelling this out loud.
Okay. Thank you for saying that. But also thank you for speaking up into your mic so we can hear clearly.
Sure. I guess I have detect thoughts, but he's going to know that I'm trying to read his mind and figure out what's going on. So
we'll start with good and evil and go from there.
Okay.
Because I think mine's non-detection, or like you can't detect it.
Okay. So let's go ahead and head inside and somehow get him to pay attention to us because we're blind. Or I'm blind.
As you guys come up to the building and the atrium, you find a couple of people looking at you in surprise. And a number of people who are not looking at anything in particular. But instead seem to be conversing, eating lunch. It is now actually just past noon at this point. You can see someone near you is seated upon a barrel, wrapping a long sort of leather string around a staff, and conversing in low tones with a halfling woman nearby. This single-story building covered in plaster looks like it's been recently painted. And you can see there are these little bells hung on each door. There are a number of doors around the building, and each one has a number of bells hung on them. As well as there are bells or wind chimes, actually, hung on the corners of the building. And the building walls are just a very pleasant white. And the whole place has kind of an air of retirement, less like the busy shops just a little bit down the hill, where you can hear actually quite a bit of clamor as people are going around in this area. But up here, it's a little quieter, and you can actually hear your own footsteps as you crunch over the dirt-packed ground. The black armored figure, observing you, seems to be paying very close attention to you. Krim, I'm going to ask you to make a performance check.
Can I help her with that in any way?
So if you... describe how you help her.
I'm like... I'm holding her hand, describing everything to her. Just like, alright, so this building is like... It's the clay roof, and it's painted white walls, and there's bells over all the doors, and there's a bunch of people sitting around, and there's the cool guy up on the roof I told you about.
Okay.
And
okay.
So on and so forth.
Go ahead and make a performance check with advantage for that.
I'm so glad you're a sorcerer.
Thank goodness.
17.
Why could we have gotten that one?
The black armored figure shouts down, and he has a very strange accent. Come no further.
Akiri's gonna.
He jumps down from the roof, rolls, and comes forward, hand clearly upon the strange blade. The other people are kind of like, they kind of stiffen, you know, and look a little defensive, and some of them start to kind of, they go inside the general store through various doors that are around the atrium.
I'm going to cast Detect Bots on this guy. Well, I
They're
think
feeling their way
radius,
on these
but...
strings that ring bells.
Akiri's just looking at this guy in absolute wonder because she genuinely thinks he's the coolest thing. One of the coolest things she's ever seen.
Okay. So he says, "Go no further."
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out where I can get it in the chat.
Click the name of the spell. Ah. Okay. So when you cast a spell, this has verbal, somatic, and material components. So it is, you know, he can see that you're casting a spell. Since he's facing you, you're facing him, and, you know, you basically... You can decide what it looks like exactly, but, you know, it is clear that you're doing some kind of mumbo-jumbo. So, when you cast the spell, the blade is out. Shing! And he pulls it out, like, totally flat and straight. Straight toward you guys.
Akiri's just like... my kind of in the back of her mind going, why? Okay, hi.
What is this magic you cast?
I have no idea what she's doing. I'm sorry. Krim, what are you doing?
He's walking
Has it been
forward,
cast?
sword point first.
Has it been fully cast yet? I mean, it
Yes,
requires
it
one
has been
action.
cast, and in response, he drew his sword, and he's walking straight up to you, pointing it out.
Okay.
This
Trying to
is your
figure out.
last warning.
I'm gonna say trying to figure out if you're a friend or an enemy, and then basically, what do I get from casting it on him?
When you cast a spell, and as your action on each turn, he says, okay. He says and thinks what he's about to say. Does that make sense? He says and thinks what he's about to say, which is, I am the bodyguard. Who are you? And you see his face is kind of beneath the hood. He's kind of wrapped up in these kind of like bandages. And his eyes are super freaking weird. They're not shaped like human eyes. Or Dragonborn eyes, or Aarakocra eyes. They're like these big, kind of weird-looking things with these sort of iridescent, grayish silver pupils.
Does he have a tail?
He does not have a tail, as far as
Damn
you
it.
can see.
I thought he might be a whatever it is.
His
The
hand
cat-
is also wrapped up, and it looks strange too, as he points the blade straight at you guys.
I'm sorry. We're just.
You
we
are
just need-
pretending to be blind, and it is my charge to stop anyone approach who means Master Fitchywell harm.
Well, you see, that's the opposite of why we're here.
You are
Yes.
his surface thought is intense suspicion, and if you're lying, he saw through your play acting at being blind. Seems like he hangs around a lot of blind people, and he is basically at maximum suspicious, and he is thinking about running you through if you take another step forward.
I am going to drop the act and say, look, we have concerns about another attack on, or an attack on Fitzywell. We came to warn him. We weren't for sure if we were going to get in if I wasn't blind. But we need to see him.
How loudly do you speak?
Just enough for, how far away is he?
A couple of steps. A couple of paces
Just enough
away.
for him to hear. I'm not trying to alert everyone, but
Okay. Those strange eyes narrow.
Can I tell what
Why
this
you
is?
pretend?
we thought it would be better to meet Fitzywell this way. If he thought I needed help, he might want to meet us, and then we could tell him what we have heard.
He looks over his shoulder and sees that a couple of people are kind of peeking out of doors, like wondering what's going on. Is there going to be a sword fight? And he says, ask Master Jewel if he will see them. And he turns and looks at you. Do you have a mark?
Nope. And show him my hands and whatnot.
He looks at your hands. Stick out your tongue.
Okay. I stick out my tongue.
He looks at your tongue and he looks at your forehead. He nods slowly. Not visible anyway. A couple of doors close in response to his instructions, and they kind of come back, and they're like,
Akiri's
"Yeah,
Akiri's gonna go. If you don't mind me asking, but what are you looking for? Is it like the square weird mark thing, possibly? Because we know about that too. That's why we're here."
You hear someone speaking to him from one of the cracked open doors in a strange language. What languages do you two speak?
Draconic, Common, Orcish.
Common, Aarakocran, Auran, and yeah. Oh, and Halfling.
Okay. You do not understand this strange tongue. He turns. Or actually, he doesn't turn. He stays facing you, and he slowly sheathes his sword. You may approach. For now.
Thank you.
But I have my eye on you. Any further deception will be noticed.
Yes, sir. And then she'll grab. Akiri's gonna grab Krim's hand and very carefully lead them towards wherever they're going.
He goes like this. Make a perception roll as you guys enter the building. Or pass him.
Wow,
Okay.
10.
What about Haley? Ah, there it is. Just took a second to come through. 8. Alright.
Sorry, I was struggling to read there.
You guys are kind of guided through various strings hung with many bells. And a bunch more of them ding-a-ling-a-ling, ring as you push open the door and enter. Inside, there's this kind of well-apportioned building. It looks like a store. There's these very neat racks, like sort of central standing shelves and shelves on some of the walls. But a lot of the walls are covered in paintings. Marvelous things. Landscapes that look like you could fall into them. Ocean vistas that look like you could swim on the waves. You're immediately struck by this as you walk in, but the guy says, "Go on, go on."
Akiri's gonna turn to Krim and go, Why do a bunch of blind people have paintings?
The man who answers is seated behind a kind of a large desk or store bar where there's this kind of very fancy, smooth wooden cabinet at one end of the room. And he says, "Perhaps not all of us were always blind." You look over and see that there's this male elf who looks like this. He has a kind of a friendly, if somewhat lined face, and his eyes are silver different from the strange black armored man's, but kind of staring off into not exactly at you, over your left shoulder, perhaps. He is very well dressed in this kind of green, robe with gold embroidery, and he smiles and nods as you come in, and he says, "Many of the works you see, I painted myself." Long, long ago.
They're so pretty.
Thank you. I hope Hramak did not instill too deep a fear in you as you came in. He has had to be very careful of my safety as of late.
I understand that. He's really cool. Like, he's terrifying, but like he's also one of the coolest things I've ever seen. How does he do that?
Hramak is standing right behind you and goes, and kind of steps around you and goes and stands, arms folded, very stiff, next to what can only be Fitchywell. And he introduces himself. I am Marias Fitzywell, merchant, and dabbler in a few other things. What brings you to me today?
Well, we kind of ran into a problem with your name on it.
Okay, I can talk again.
You don't say.
Yeah.
Hey, have you been attacked before? And as I say that, I'm gonna cast. Well, shoot, they're gonna see me cast it.
Yeah, don't, please.
Has it been a minute since I last cast Detect Thoughts?
It is still active.
Okay, then I'm gonna move it. Take the action and move it to Fitzywell from her Hramak, whatever his name is. Hramak?
Hramak. I put it in the chat. As you're speaking and focusing on him, a couple of other people are kind of trickling into the room. There's a female dwarf, a female halfling, a male dwarf, another female halfling who's kind of feeling her way along the walls. He is an elf. He is a male elf. He has kind of gray hair, close cropped. He has a friendly, he has a lot of smile lines.
I'm talking about Hramak.
Hramak is shrouded in black armor, a hood, and kind of bandages over his face and hands. They actually failed their perception roll to see his skin.
Yeah.
But he has weird eyes. And a weirder sword. He says, well, it's nice of you to ask. I'm sorry, I'm Marias Fitzywell. And you are?
Oh, my name's Akiri, and this is my friend Krim. Yeah, we're part of a bigger group, and we're in town right now. We're adventurers.
Yeah.
Ah. How interesting.
Yeah, and then during our adventures, this has happened a couple of different times. We keep coming across this symbol. It's a gesh, apparently. And from what I've understand it is, at least. And apparently it makes people want to kill you.
2 of our friends have been stricken by this gash, and we don't actually want to kill you. We want to remove this from them. Do you know anyone who could remove this from them?
I forgot to answer your query about detect thoughts, because it really had very little duration left, but you wanted to focus on him. He is mainly... you get the sense he's trying to figure out what's going on. He is curious. And unafraid.
Damn.
The magic will soon fade, however.
Okay.
He says, well, I don't know when the last time was that I had adventurers in my shop, although I'm sure Hromak could swap a few stories with you.
Akiri just goes, oh, very excited.
And I'm like, I don't think he wants to.
Oh, but I bet they'd be cool.
Probably.
Well, I suppose I'm sorry that your friends came under some baneful magic. But I'm glad that you yourselves did not need to test my bodyguard's skill.
Yeah,
Not that it was ever in
attacks?
question.
Have there been other attacks? Is this why you hired a bodyguard?
Adventurers, you say. So, is this some adventure you are on?
We mostly came together out of necessity. And then we
Yeah.
ended up liking each other. I guess.
see.
Yeah.
How interesting. It's good to have friends. He kind of tilts his head, and almost as if he's indicating a painting. And there is one to his left that is just beautiful in its shape and its form. You feel like you're at the party where it's set. There's it's kind of like The Party by Renoir. It's just this shapes and colors and people, and you can almost hear the laughter coming from the painting, and you get the sense that he is that it was of some friends he had a long time ago.
Mr. Fitzywell. So, okay, so I know some magic, and part of my
Congratulations.
magic is healing magic.
Oh, are you
I'm
a
a-
religious one?
Yeah, I'm a cleric of Zhurk.
Zhurk, one of my favorite gods.
Oh yeah, I like him too. He's pretty great.
I have a few holy symbols of Zhurk roundabout, collected from some gnome friends of mine in their festivals that they've had over the years. Look around if you're interested. But of course, that's not why you're here, is it?
No. But part of my healing magic is I can make blind people see again. So I was wondering if maybe I could try it on you? If you'd like, because, I mean, I don't know. I've never tried this before. I've never tried making a blind person see again, but, I think it can do it. Pretty sure it can. Jork seems to think it, seems to tell me it does.
Thank you. I must express a certain amount of doubt, but your work is kind and good. Perhaps, who knows? Perhaps today is the day. This happened 200 years ago. Some
Oh, wow.
angry revolutionaries.
What did they do? I'm one.
It's a
I'm wondering.
painful topic.
I know.
I'm sure you can understand.
Yeah.
It's perhaps
But,
once we know each other a little better. You're a newcomer to town, are you not?
Yes, sir. We are.
Hmm.
We just
And
got
from
in
the
yesterday.
rustling, am I speaking to an Aarakocra?
Yeah, you are. That's a good. Yay, that's good. You're really good at this.
Well, thank you. I've had the pleasure of knowing a few of your kind in my life, and you have all been of noble spirit.
Thank you. So, do you mind if I try this spell on you? I don't know. I just don't like, because you made such pretty paintings, and I mean, I want you to make more of them.
Well, thank you. Hramak kind of loosens the blade in the hilt. You kind of see a few inches of weird twisted metal emerge from the sheath. And he says, "No more spells. No magics.
Please, but
My bodyguard has spoken. Again, perhaps once we know each other a little better, I truly appreciate the sentiment, my friend. I just don't think that it will work. I'm afraid what was lost, I lost a long, long time ago.
just a question out of game. Does Lesser Restoration have like an expiration date on it?
It can. It has been 200 years.
Okay, so it's more if it's only a recent thing.
From his evident wealth, you would guess that he probably has the means to try a few
True.
different things as well.
The second level spell.
You have 20 wisdom, right?
Sorry?
You have 20 wisdom?
Yes.
I'm not going to make you roll. Without making a roll, you can tell he's trying to be very polite and not, like, hurt your feelings, but he also has just a lot of pain related to this.
Okay.
Okay. So, you haven't answered any of my questions.
I'm so sorry.
Sorry.
What was your name again?
Krim.
Krim. That wouldn't happen to be of the Krim van Stahl, would it?
No.
No? Oh, okay. My apologies. I knew some of them and did good business with them some time ago.
That's
what
good.
were your questions, good adventurer?
Have
Can't talk? No! Maybe I didn't answer the questions because I didn't hear them. Alright.
Okay, you can hear me now.
Yes, I hear you.
Okay. Have you been attacked and our friends have the gish? Do you know anyone who can remove it? We would have, if I had more practice, I could have removed it, but
I'm afraid I do not know of anyone that can remove it, and yes, there have been a series of attacks. Creatures from outside the town have been coming after me, and as you can see, I have had to hire a bodyguard.
Well, that fits in with what we've been seeing as well. Both of the symbols that we found. One was, the most recent one was on the signpost down the road a ways, showing which direction Arkne was in. And then the first one we found on a bugbear, I think.
How
we killed him.
strange. Yes,
dropped
I
his
don't know
name.
what's going on. It's disturbing, frankly. I feel like someone's out to get me.
I agree.
and we should have told you this initially, but the reason we came here and the reason we came here so quickly is that one of our group members escaped, and we're afraid that he's on his way here. He's currently invisible.
Ah,
Yes, sorry we didn't tell you that earlier.
that will not be a problem.
Well, that's good.
Considering how often I
But
have
thank
to
you for
deal
the
with-
warning. I will check on the other blind guards. He stalks off. And as Hramak leaves, the female halfling who is kind of feeling her way along the wall says, is the store open? Mariah says, yes, we're open. I'm just having a little conversation with these new friends over here. He says, do you think your friend means me harm?
I can tell.
Yes.
Well, yes, but he doesn't want to. None of our members want to. And
Yeah.
it's only two of us.
He tried resisting it a couple days ago, and it almost
He
killed him.
nearly died.
Well, if he makes an attempt, he may not find that it goes well.
I know, and I'm worried about him.
We are trying to keep them away from you, but we need to remove it as soon as possible. They can't leave the town. Because
I see.
once the one guy, he nearly died. We have to do something, and we're trying to figure out if you were good or if you were bad.
I assure you I am not bad. At least I don't like to think that I am. Some of my business partners would probably disagree.
Well, isn't that most businesses, though?
I suppose so.
Do you have any idea who's going around spreading the gish? Anyone suspicious? Anyone with a grudge against you?
I have no idea. I frankly couldn't guess who would want to hurt me after all this time. Maybe a few centuries ago, when I was at the height of my powers, he gestures at the marvelous paintings. Maybe then some jealous rival But now, and in such a strange and roundabout manner of aggression, it's... No, I have no idea what's going on. You are the third of the folk who have told me about this. Or rather, you are the third attack. Not to put too fine a point on it.
Well, we know about the orc attack. Who was the first one?
That was a thing out of the lake.
A what from the where?
You're aware of the large lake that takes several days of sailing to cross to our northwest?
Yeah.
Good. That lake. Deep Lurk.
What came out of it?
I've heard it described variously as a thing like an octopus and something like a nightmare and something like well, after that it turns into nonsense, but a nasty creature, no doubt.
Huh.
And then, yes, there have been several orc attacks, but it's news to me about bugbears and your invisible friend.
Well, one's not invisible.
Oh, so there are two of them, yes.
Yes.
All right, well, thank you for the warning. I would say I don't know what the answer is. I don't want to suggest that you do your friends harm, but I certainly don't want to come to any harm myself.
If it narrows it down at all, the gesh is usually used by holy people, like myself. Actually, I think I can use that spell at some point. But if that helps,
you think it is a worshipper of a god who has been spreading these curses.
Exactly.
Well,
so
I will be truly sorry to hear that if that's who it is. I don't know what to say, really.
Are there any temples in town?
Are there any temples in town? Yes, there are. Some go to the governor's mansion for he has a chapel, I believe. Hosts services, mainly to hang on. I gotta check my notes. Who does he mostly worship? There we go. Deremnon, I believe.
Can I make a religion check just to see who that is?
Of course.
$15.
Okay. Is basically the god of noble blood.
Of course. That just told me a lot about this governor.
They get their own fucking god now? Great.
Highly admired and often glorified god. Associated with wind, like the winds of change and the winds of the spirit. And is described as an active and rational god.
Interesting. Alright, cool. Just wanted to know just wanted to know if I knew him.
Usually worshipped through gifts and vows.
Okay.
Look, our first priority is helping our friends, but if you prove worthy, we'll help you. Figure out who this is.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Are you offering to track down the perpetrator of this in return for some kind of reward?
I mean,
If you want to reward
if you're going to give us a reward, sure.
Everyone in the store, the 2 dwarves and 2 halflings, all start coming forward and saying, "Oh, we'll chip in. We'll take up a collection. We'll pay your reward. We'll pay your reward." And Marias is like, "Oh, goodness. I hadn't expected that. The Roadheart General Store is to help you folks, not to get benefit from some sort of relationship." They're like, No. This is something we can help with. In particular, the someone who introduces herself as Pela Nimblefingers, who's been feeling her way along the wall. She's this little halfling woman who's very heavily muscled. And one of her eyes is completely gone. Just a socket, and the other is kind of milky white. And she says, "Adventurers are exactly the kind of thing that you need. Sitting around and being guarded is all very well, but we need to find the source and put a stop to this." Fitziwell is like, "My goodness. Well, I hadn't thought of it that way." What sort of reward are you looking for?
We're not necessarily looking for one at this point.
But we'll take one.
Almost just a general screw you to whoever decided to screw with us.
I see.
But
well, if you can bring the murderer to justice, I'm sure that well, but in addition to the sense of vindication and avenging yourselves, I think Roadheart General Store can put in 5 gold. And just to say thanks, really. 5 pieces of gold. Actually, make that 10. And the people in the store are kind of like talking amongst themselves, and they each decide to put in 10 silver pieces. So grand total, you're looking at 10 gold and 40 silver. And they say, and we'll ask around, because there's other folks that are going to want to protect Mr. Fitziwell.
Thank you. We'll take whatever you decide is worthy.
Well, if it's my life we're talking about, I hope quite worthy indeed.
Okay, so quick question. Where are we in the building?
You are right around here.
Okay. Are we like decently close to like an outside wall or something? Just for future.
Sure.
Sure. Okay. Alright, cool. That's all I needed to know.
Okay.
I
He's
think
kind of
we're
seated
gonna-
behind this desk with all these paintings arrayed along the walls all around. Each one more marvelous than the last.
I think we should I think we're gonna wait in here until, your bodyguard gets back, and then I think we're gonna see if we can find our friend.
I am
Our first priority is our
I've been
friend.
standing behind you.
Akiri jumps like 2 feet in the air.
I have mastered the ability of standing so still that I become invisible.
He actually just walked up quietly. You can't really see his expression, but you sense a hint of mirth in the eyes as he takes up his place next to Marias Fitzywell. Well, all right then. Thanks for the warning. Thanks for coming by. Please browse our wares. Roadheart General Store has many things that might be of interest to adventurers.
I
Thank
just
you,
want
but
you to know that our first priority is our friend, and then we'll get to work. But we have to help our 2 friends.
yeah, I
I
think
Completely
If you don't
understand.
we're just gonna stay around the outside of the building to make sure he doesn't get in. So we can at least slow him down if we need to.
Oh, well, that's appreciated. Thank you.
You're welcome. And then she's gonna grab Krim and start to head out. Because I have a plan. I have an idea.
Okay. We're going to cut to the people, basically everybody else. So, Bref, you are in a room in the Mellow Eel, and your naked selves that have been dancing on everyone's heads have been kind of growing larger and larger, and now resemble more like kind of large, kind of pink balls that are kind of turning into bubbles and floating off into the distance, a la the scene in Dumbo. As you watch them, you're hearing voices, and you hear the voices of your sea brothers, your ship brothers, trying to perhaps call you back to reality, but not having much luck with it, as you are spinning and you feel the swaying of the ocean, and the rest of them see you kind of rocking back and forth while you're tied up, but you are feeling the rocking of the boat from before you came to the Wildlands.
Whoever decided to move this into the lake made a great choice.
So as he's saying that, Yar, I'm not sure whether Bella's there, Mavra, and Krim, no, not Krim, Cordy, are all in the room. What are you guys doing?
I figure one of us should, or at least one of us should go and see if we can find a way to remove this curse from our two friends. I can stay and guard this fellow, but I think I might need a wee bit of help. He seems quite strong.
Mavra speaks up and says, I don't mind helping.
Aye, lass, that's probably for the best.
Okay. So Bella, are you speaking up and saying that?
No, I am on my way to the library.
Okay. So Bella, you are leaving your friends behind and going alone.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Cordy?
I guess I'll hand one of the packets of the mushroom powder to Mavra, and I'll say, I guess I'll go after Bella. I'm not sure how much help I'll be here.
Is that your last packet of mushroom powder?
We used 2 packets. I had 4.
I thought one of them got spilled in the fighting.
No.
Okay.
There was a bit of confusion where Equitus almost took some.
Right. But he didn't
until
actually
you informed him. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You are correct. That's what confused me. Okay, so you have 2 left. So you're giving one to Mavra, who is going to stand guard over Breath, and keeping the other one for yourself.
And then...
Mark that down, please.
Should I go after... I'll just ask the room generally. Should I go after Bella? Do you feel like you need me here? Or what do you think would be most helpful? I'm not very strong.
You can go after Bella real easy with arms that long.
Yes, you know this one better than I do. Do you think me and Mavra, is that what you said her name was? Do you think the 2 of us could hold him while if he were to wake up from his current condition?
You should be out of commission for a while, and I'm sure between the 2 of you, you should be able to handle him. Mavra's very strong, and you seem to be very strong as well.
Hi, thank you, lass. But I think it would be better if the more people we have at the library searching for answers, the better. So I recommend you go after Bella and try to find a solution to our friends' current situation, especially if the other 2 are successful in finding Equitus. The sooner we have a solution, the better.
All right. So then I'll turn and I'll leave my rope with them in case they need extra rope.
I think mine broke.
And I'll turn and leave to follow Bella.
Didn't Breath break my rope?
I think he did. He snapped it. Okay.
That's right. I think he's currently wrapped up in yours, Krim.
All right. So Bella, guys, please move yourselves to where you're going in the town. So Yar, you're staying at the Mellow Eel?
Yes, I'm staying with Mavra at the Mellow Eel. We're gonna make sure that Breath doesn't. If he wakes up, that we can hold him down.
Okay. So Bella, you see Cordy kind of running up behind you to catch up with you.
All right, I slow down and wait for her to catch up with me.
All right. And the both of you approach the library.
Bella, what exactly are we looking for?
Oh, my gosh, so many things. I mean, I plan to check out every single book that they have about Gesh, and also I plan to ask them if any letters are here for Mavra from who growed him gold hair, because that was the only place that we told him that we were going to be. So I assume if he sent word, he would send it here. And also, I have to return this library book.
Should we start with that, or do you want to try to find books first?
I suppose that... Let's call that priority A3.
Okay.
Okay. The Library of Ibu Gruger is tall and imposing. It looks more than a bit like several wizards' towers mashed together, a puzzle box of wood and stone, pierced by tall, beautiful windows, and capped by a rolling shingle roof. It looks improbable in construction, though not at all rickety. Despite what must be an impressive age, the building seems to float in places, with balconies and bay windows that jut out in all directions, yet lack any visible support. All around the library, fluttering in and out of the eaves and high windows, are what at first appear to be birds. But as you get closer, you eventually realize they are folded papers, flapping mightily to stay on course in the light wind. 2 chimneys, each at a different height, put out columns of smoke that occasionally change color, and you can detect a smell like incense and ink in the air. Like arched eyebrows, 2 of the windows overlook the front steps, which sweep up grandly to a large door that looks like the cover of a gigantic book, complete with a gilded calligraphic motto that proudly proclaims, in common, "For the people of this land, that they may at last learn to read, and the value of letters." Within, there lies a marvel of magical construction. You step through those front doors that look like the covers of a book, and there's a sort of small antechamber, a short foyer, that seems to be decorated with marble carved like rippling parchment. And your weapons, your magical items, really anything you have on you that could be used in combat is pulled from your person and flies and sticks to the wall.
Well, that's rude.
There are
Also,
neat
they can't
rows
take the
of
power
other-
of my mind and my bagpipes. Do they take my bagpipes?
They do not take your bagpipes. Well, actually, they are a musical instrument. They do take your bagpipes, and with a sad honk, they
so upset.
join the row of spears and swords and glowing wands that align the walls of the foyer. Do you guys continue
Well,
on
this
in?
is the worst library I've ever been to so far.
I don't think I've ever been in a library.
Oh, well, I think you'll like it. There's lots of books. Do you like books?
I know what books are.
That's a good start.
Cordy, As you pass into the foyer, the presence, the consciousness that you usually feel next to your own is dulled a little, muted, freeing you slightly.
I'm not sure that I like library.
All right, well, we don't have to stay very long.
Several people brush past you, well-dressed, looking like they're on important business, merchants perhaps, or scholars, coming in and out of the library as you guys stand marveling or discussing in the foyer.
All right, well, we'll only be a few minutes. You don't have to come in if you don't want to.
I think for some reason it's important for me to go inside. And I think that maybe I can seek some clarity.
All right, well, then by all means. It'll only be a few minutes, and if you don't like it, you can just wait outside. And I walk in.
I follow her.
Within, you are aware of this enormous open space of the main hall. Flying bookshelves ponderously float across the massive room, shifting the light from the rows of square windows, keeping just within reach of someone standing on the tiers of balconies that curl around the walls. There are people of a multitude of races, appearance, and dress in here. Some peruse the works, others take notes on wooden tables, or simply stand gawking as one of the massive floating bookshelves changes direction and slips perfectly between two others to answer some unseen signal. Walking amongst these varied folk are figures in pale, parchment-colored robes, clearly a uniform, and they seem to be speaking in low voices over the rustle of paper or shelving books, and occasionally moving the bookcases with the wave of a hand. There are... one second. Stand by. There it is. There are people... oh, sorry, I said that already. Down toward the far end are some rows of fancily carven columns featuring dragons and manticores and other creatures too strange to immediately name, frozen in marble. Through those columns, you can see some smaller wooden doors which must lead to the librarian's offices. The smell of old books descends on you in a tidal wave, somehow enhanced by the two cedar-burning fireplaces, one at either end, which keep the place relatively warm, despite the winter air outside. What would you guys like to do?
I guess I'm gonna try and head for if there's like a reference desk or some like central information location.
Is there a central information location? Not exactly. There are people, you know, at various kind of writing desks set up across the floor in rows or along the balconies out of the way of people walking. Some are scribbling on parchments, others are perusing piles of books. The only thing that might be what you're talking about are the folks in the uniforms, the parchment-colored robes.
All right. Okay, then I'll just approach one of them.
Okay. As you do so, Cordy is kind of peering. There's this polished marble to this high sheen. And in the light coming from the windows, you can kind of see your reflection in it. And you can kind of tell that probably no one else would notice, but you can tell, because you know your own face, that the mushrooms are just kind of their umbrellas are kind of closed a bit.
Cordy's gonna stop and look at herself a little bit. She's gonna reach up and touch the side of her head in a confused way. Almost like afraid to touch the mushrooms that are growing out of her. Like she's not quite sure what's going on. And then she's going to shake her head and walk away.
Okay. There's a couple of different people you could approach, Bella. Do you want to approach... There's a large and imposing human man. Very tall but old. With this kind of fierce look on his face. And he is shelving books. There's a very good-looking half-elf man who is kind of smiling as he bends over to help someone with a question seated at a writing desk. There's also a dwarf woman who is kind of bustling about, and she has this writing desk like for her own self that is like piled high with papers and various quills, and she is kind of going back and like writing on them, and then going and taking them and like laying them over. They have scroll drying racks, you know, with like wooden poles, kind of like a clothes rack that they lay the scroll over for the ink to dry.
Interesting.
And somebody comes past you, not wearing a uniform, but basically looks like a gardener. He's got like a kind of a gloves and these dirty boots, and he's kind of stomping out of the library.
Interesting.
That's who you currently kind of see. There are others, you know, up on the balconies around about, but on this floor, that's who you immediately see. So who do you want to approach?
Yeah, I guess I'll wait for the half-elf to stop helping whoever they're helping.
Okay. He finishes what he's doing, and he looks up at you and smiles. And raises his eyebrows, curiously.
And I lean over and I say, "Hello, do you work here?" And I'm not going to torture you by whispering into the microphone, but I am keeping my voice very low, as is appropriate in library.
Okay, I was about to react to that. Okay, so you are whispering.
Yeah.
He says, to say the least, yes. Can I help you with something?
yes, you can help me with 3 things. And she is going to give him this big smile and pull the library book out of her bag.
He says, yes. He's still like answering your question, even though you've said you've already responded. He's like, I do indeed work here. I am second assistant librarian Bly Gavior, at your service.
Oh, well, perfect. I was hoping to find somebody who was in charge here.
He's
Yes.
very blonde,
All right.
very blue-eyed, cheerful smile, and a discerning look about him. And kind of underneath the over uniform, he has these kind of billowing wizard robes with moons and stars sewn on. He
Fancy.
cuts a dramatic figure in midnight and star themes.
All right. Well, I pull out the library book and I give him this big smile and I say, "My name is Bella and Doral," and I just kind of pause dramatically.
He says, marvelous. Is that one of the things I can help you with?
She looks mildly deflated and says, no. I'm here to return this library book and also to check out every single book that you have on the Gesh spell, and also to inquire if there have been any items of correspondence left here for my friend Mavra.
Items of correspondence. You wish to find books on the spell Gesh, and you wish to return a book.
Yes.
He holds out his hand for the book.
I should probably explain, before you look at this book, I didn't check this book out. I found it in an ancient temple. It's a long story. I can tell you if you want, but you seem very busy, so we should probably just skip right past all of that and say, you're welcome for bringing back this ancient book. And I hand it to him. Oh, wait, no, I didn't find it in that temple. I found it in the Dragon's Cave. I'm sorry.
What a story. He opens it up and looks at the inside cover. You may recall, what was the book? What is the title of the book again?
Let me pull up my character sheet.
It's on your cards.
Oh,
Play
okay.
the card to the table.
A classical primer on sinister visions. There we go.
Where was I? Oh, thank you very much, Secret Past. Secrets Past for following. Etc. Where was I? Classical primer for previous. Yeah, so he looks at the cover, right? He reads the title. He kind of frowns slightly. He looks inside. He kind of looks at some of the pages. Make an insight check.
13.
Okay. He almost completely covers it, but his eyes show that he is having a big reaction. Oh, how good of you to bring this to my attention. I will certainly help you with your Gesh books, was it?
Yes. Everything you have on the subject.
Yes, and what was the other thing? Oh, yes, check for correspondence. Of course, right away. I had better get this grimoire to the head librarian. I will do that and come back and find you. Feel free to look around.
I'll be waiting right here.
Of course. And he sweeps around and begins to run off. You get the sense that he's trying to scoop you.
What? Okay, I'm gonna tag along, and I'm going to say, actually, I don't suppose you would mind if I met the head librarian. I mean,
somebody
seeing
nearby
as I've
says,
got all...
"Shh."
Seeing as all I've got this research to do on the Gesh and everything, and you know, probably should just sort of like cut out the middleman, so to speak. Let you get back to your very important duty.
Right. He kind of gives in and hands you the book back.
Oh no, you can hand it to him. I mean, you know,
Yes,
I brought it all
yes.
this way. I stole it from a dragon. You have to at least let me see how this ends.
All right then. I'm sure she will appreciate that. And he shows you
Did we
to
go on break?
an office. We were about to. Did Nico say that?
I heard it too.
Anyway, he shows you to an office toward one end of the building, and says, "It's right in here." And he kind of does a quiet knock, and you're permitted to enter. Cordy, are you tagging along with this?
I think I'd like to just kind of stay in the lobby and like look around and just kind of take in the library. I feel like there's a lot going on here, and it's just kind of overwhelming.
Okay. You are shown into the head librarian's office. He hands the book to her. She is seated behind a desk, but she soon rises and has this, as she holds the book and looks up at you, her eyes wide and even wider in her big glasses. You can now see she is small and mousy looking, well, with brown hair that's kind of messy. Looks like she tried to write it, but not quite. She has this comically large pair of spectacles that make her eyes look as large as tea saucers, or as the tea saucers that litter her desk. And she looks up at you and she says, "You bring me one of Ibru Gurger's himself?"
Huh? Yes, that is what I have done. Thank you for noticing that I had done that.
Says, "Thank you, Bly Gavior. I must speak with this woman for a moment. And he says, right, I'll be just outside if you need me. And let's go on a 5-minute break. So this seems like a good spot for it. We'll use the facilities and be right back. As she says, we need to talk about where you found this book. All right, folks, we'll be back in 5. Bella, are you back?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I think we can get rolling here. I don't think Haley's back, but Everybody else is. So, you're speaking with the head librarian. She introduces herself as Ayadel.
I say, pleased to meet you. I'm Bella Endoral. And I pause dramatically.
She says, of the Elven Endorals? The writers?
Yes.
The writer family?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Yes. Yes. All the whole family. Yes, that's me. I am one of them also, and also an adventurer who found this book and immediately recognized its significance and importance and brought it to you straight away.
Well, that is marvelous. And Bly was saying something about how you found it in a ruin?
In a dragon's cave, actually. I misspoke when I was first telling him the story. I've been to so many places where I've been finding dangerous artifacts. It's sort of hard to keep track.
A dragon's lair. That makes sense.
Yes, it's a lair not too far from here, where there is actually a lair with 2 dragons in it. One of which was slain, but the other one, unfortunately, 2 dragons at the same time is hard for even the most seasoned of adventurers.
Well, marvelous. Do you know what this is?
Uh-huh. It's one of the books of Ibu Kruger.
Well, yes, it is. It's one of his primers.
Oh. Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
This grimoire is the primer of Sinister Visions. He wrote one on each school of magic. This one on the School of Divination.
This sounds like
It's marvelous that you didn't keep this for yourself. I'm just truly impressed, as it allows one to cast a number of powerful spells.
Yes, but if you go in for powerful divination, then you lose the element of surprise. I thought that it would be better suited to the library, where everybody could take advantage of its knowledge.
Well, I don't know that I would just allow anyone to take a look at grimoire of this power. I'm just amazed. I really... Well, please. The Library of Ibu Kruger, as head librarian, I would like to thank you formally for your assistance, and will grant you any boon that it is within the power of the head librarian at the Library of Ibu Kruger to grant. You're an adventurer, so you must have magical items you want identified. We can move you up in the queue. I don't know, whatever else you might be interested in. This is a marvelous, marvelous grimoire to have returned.
Well, you've caught me at something of a disadvantage. I didn't really expect. I don't really have anything prepared. I mean,
It brings our collection back up to 6.
Only 6? if you don't mind me asking, which 3 are still missing?
3. She kind of, like, looks at you. You mean 2?
Oh, I suppose I must. Which 2 are still missing?
She says, the grimoire on evocation and the grimoire on abjuration.
Interesting. Those seem like 2 of the more dangerous ones to have gone.
I suppose so. Fortunately, Ibu Gruger left certain protections upon the library.
Well, that's good at least, but I mean...
That's why it has survived so long.
If it allows you to cast powerful magic, I mean, powerful divination is one thing, but powerful evocation is something very different.
Well, I will take possession of this book and thank you very, very deeply. And again, if there is any boon that you would request, please, just ask. She nods, almost shaking off her glasses. Seriously. This is amazing.
I will. As soon as I think of something, I mean, I think we have some magic items that we would like identified. But in the meantime, what I'm actually here for is, well, 2 things. But they're related. A couple of friends of mine, they're adventuring companions, have been affected by this extremely powerful and bizarre. As far as we can tell, it's a Gesh spell, although it's unlike any that we've ever heard of, and unlike any that anyone we've consulted so far has ever heard of. And so I'm here to do research, and also here because we sent word to Hugrodum Goldhair, the well-known expert on diseases, to see if he might be able to meet us here and perhaps give us a consultation. And I wanted to know if any sign of him had been seen around here. I thought that the library would be one of the most likely places for him to stop if he came to town.
I've heard of this Goldhair. An expert in diseases, fiendish diseases, is he not?
Yeah. Yes. We're sort of at a loss.
I'm sorry to hear that. I'm afraid I haven't had much correspondence with him. Krim, she offered a boon to Bella. She said, now there's something about a spell?
Right, yes. I'm here to see if I can do some research on the Gesh spell. You see, a couple of friends of ours, perhaps you might have somebody here who's an expert on, like, runes or magical sigils. It's not something I know an awful lot about myself, but it's a Gesh that seems to have been cast through this magical sigil that has been transferred onto my friend's skin, kind of like a tattoo, from 2 different places. One, it was a tattoo on someone else that got transferred to him, and then for my other friend, it was just a sigil painted on, I think it was on a signpost, and when he touched the signpost, the sigil appeared on his skin, and has affected them with a very, very powerful Gesh.
She says, well, we can certainly inundate you with a wealth of knowledge, and on our large collection of books on runes and symbols, if that's what you're after. You wish to study this symbol on your friend's skin? What does that have to do with the Gesh spell?
Well, there seems to be a certain comorbidity. As soon as these sigils appeared on their skin, they felt themselves affected by this powerful Gesh. And we think that that might be the means by which the spell was cast on them.
I see. So, is your goal to study this or to remove it?
Ultimately to remove it.
To remove it.
But considering that it seems to be a very unusual variant on the Gesh, and considering that we have had very little success in figuring out how exactly to go about removing it, I suppose I'm not really sure where to start. But if you have an expert here, or if you know of somebody in town, or have a particular book in mind, or any assistance that you could give us, then I would be more than happy to accept any suggestion.
Well, you can certainly speak to our chief scribe, Blogwin. You probably saw her on the way in. A dwarf woman, big, enormous cat-themed glasses.
Lots of scrolls falling off of her desk at all times. Yes, all right. I'll stop by and see if she has anything to say. Thank you.
Certainly, she would probably know the most unusual works of this nature. She has an eidetic memory.
Got it.
And therefore the perfect copyist. Secondly, I may be able to remove your friend's curse myself. If that is
really
the boon you would request.
If it can be done, then certainly.
I can certainly give it a try. Would you bring him here? Or would I need to come find him?
Well, we do currently have, there's two friends of mine that have been affected with the same curse. And one of them,
two friends.
Think that I know exactly where he is.
Is this the disease that spreads?
Not. It isn't
contagious. Has it spread from one to the other? It's not contagious. Are you sure of that?
Yes.
All right.
Fairly sure.
We also have a warlock who's visiting us from White Witch named Grimslag, who might be able to help.
I would be more than happy to talk to him, certainly. He sounds like he knows what he's doing.
Just don't get him in the tavern where he'll try to sing at you. Oh dear. Anyway, yes, I think we could certainly help you along all of these lines, and it is the least the library can do for an adventurer such as yourself, bringing us such a kingly gift.
Well, thank you very much. If you can do anything to help us, that's almost the entire reason, other than, obviously, first priority, returning this incredibly, obviously important, valuable book, but second priority, getting rid of this harmless but annoying Gesh.
Well, why don't you go speak with Blogwun for now? I have some other matters I need to take care of, particularly getting this grimoire, she kind of caresses it lovingly. This grimoire locked away safely in the restricted section. I will... where can I find you? And your friends?
Currently we have a day room at the Mellow Eel, where one of my friends with the Gesh is...
What about this evening? After hours?
Yes. This evening we will be at... the card is over the building. Clayton's Lodge.
She makes a face. Oh. Maybe you'd better bring them here then.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. I'll bring him here this evening.
Wonderful. Thank you again.
Oh, yes. Thank you very much. All right. I will see you this evening.
She says,
with my friend and the Gesh.
As you're leaving, she kind of mutters, more to herself than to you. I can't wait to see Emmett's face when he realizes.
All right, I guess I walk out into the hallway and, yeah.
You walk back out into the main chamber. You find the blonde guy kind of still hanging around. He leans in and he's like, "So, how did it go?"
Great. Yeah, she was very excited to see it. I'm sorry she kicked you out of the room. That seemed very unfair.
Yes, it did, didn't it? Especially since I was the one who noticed what you were carrying. Oh well. It's no matter. I'm sure, it was just an oversight. Is there something else I can help you with?
Well, she told me I should probably speak with Logwin. Or... if you have a better idea, anyone who's an expert on runes or sigils or anything like that.
Well, Blogwin is a master illuminator, and she decorates some of our ancient books. She would certainly have knowledge of the kind you're looking for. I've also taken the liberty of lining up a few works I think you might be interested in. What would you like to do first?
Oh, that is amazing. Let me swing past her so that I can tell her what the sigil is and she can do her thing, and then I will... Where should I meet you to go over the books?
And he says, no need, and he presses a list into your hand with, like, shelf numbers.
Perfect. All right. Thank you so much. This is incredibly helpful.
Think nothing of it, my lady. And he sweeps into a bow and walks off in those beautiful clothes that, again, make you feel like you stick out in your adventurer's dusty clothing.
All right. Well, I take my list and I head back to where I was before and try to find the dwarven scribe lady.
Okay. This is a very chubby, very obviously a cat lady dwarf woman. She looks up from writing in very, very beautifully calligraphic lettering and gives you this big smile. Did I hear right? Did you return A grimoire.
Uh-huh. The divination one.
Oh, that's marvelous. Marvelous. Oh, isn't that... That's just amazing. You must be a very famous adventurer, and I'm pleased to make your acquaintance. I'm Blogowin. I'm the chief scribe around here.
I am Bella and Doral, and I am a super famous adventurer.
She adjusts her cat-shaped glasses. Marvelous, marvelous. Well, what's that I can help you with then?
Right. So, long story short, my friends have been affected by this magical tattoo that was transferred to their skin against their will and seems to be casting some kind of mind control on them.
Oh,
and
excellent.
I understand.
I know just where to send you.
Oh, perfect.
Have you got a list there of shells already from that boy Daphne?
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
let me add a few things to it.
I hand her the list.
All right. So this will allow you to conduct research at the library at advantage.
Yay.
If you want to spend the rest of the day doing that, I'll let you make a check at advantage at the end of the day.
Yeah, I will do that.
Okay. So, Cordy, you notice Bella talking to all these people, getting all these lists of books, and then she just starts walking around, pulling books off of these massive floating shelves that flow through the room back and forth. What do you want to do, Cordy?
I would like to see if I see any books that look botanical. Like they would have information about local plants.
Local plants? Okay. So you both are going to be doing some downtime research, which is totally cool. You have just about enough hours left in the day to do that. I guess, depending on... Well, Cordy, are you looking for, like, some kind of, like, are you trying to find as much information as you can get, or are you just, like, looking for just a very basic book?
I want to see if I see anything that talks specifically about Varincana.
And you want to get as much on that as you can? That's not local, by the way. That's different.
Well, also helping Bella if she needs my help. Like, I'm not gonna, like, just leave her alone. But, like, if there's time when I can't be helping her, I'd like to see if I could at least find a book that mentions that.
Well, I guess what I'm trying to determine is, are you going to dive into some research, or are you literally trying to find a book that mentions it? Because one of those is going to require a check, and the other one is like, yeah, you find a book.
Yeah, I mean, if I find a book, like, I'd like to, like, spend some time with it.
Okay.
Trying to gather what.
Got it. Okay, cool.
But
All right, so
I would
you'll
say
also...
that's like my. Sorry, I would just say that that's secondary priority. Like, so, like, if Bella needs my help, I would be helping her more than doing that.
Okay. Alright, so you both are going to be doing some downtime research action in the library, which should be interesting. And this is a marvelously well-stocked library. Bella, you have only seen stuff like this in the greatest of libraries in some of the largest cities that you've ever been to. And it's out here in the middle of nowhere, essentially.
Yeah, I'm kind of amazed by that.
So we're going to come back to you guys, and as you kind of dive into this, so we're kind of introducing the concept of downtime actions here, which take, you know, hours or days or weeks. In this case, you guys are going to spend the rest of the day on this. Aquitus. We have rolled around to you, my friend, as that was all happening that was all happening at the same time as the very dramatic events at the close of last session. So you are, at this moment, basically running away from the abandoned cabin. She calls out her name. This woman calls out her name after you. Rosalind Thackeray, come and find me. And you go past the Arkne station, where a couple of guys in the chainmail or scale mail are kind of leaning on their enormous crossbows and giving you curious looks. What do you want to do?
I would like to make my way. I'd like to make my way back to the Mellow Inn Tavern.
The Mellow Eel?
Mellow Eel, I'm sorry. Yes, the Mellow Eel Tavern.
All right. So, Cordy and Akiri. If we can hear... Not Cordy, sorry. Krim. Why I'm getting those confused tonight, I don't know. Krim and Akiri. How are you guys keeping guard at the Roadheart General Store? Could you describe that, please?
Currently, I'm sitting up on the roof, and just curious how far, like, how tall is, like, the top of the roof? Like, the peak of it?
It's a single floor, so, I mean, the very peak is probably about 15 feet up. Maybe 20 feet in a certain spot.
Sweet. So I'm going to... Do I remember approximately where we were talking with... What's his face?
That is too vague.
Do I know, like, the approximate part of the building?
You want to be right above where Mariah sits at his desk?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Yeah, that's actually where you were before. Where the man in black armor was standing.
Gotcha. So Kira's gonna jump up there.
Okay, well, as you fly up, Krim gets your attention.
Okay.
And she looks uneasy.
Okay, just real quick, one thing. I have an idea, because I didn't want to cast any magic while we were in there. Because, like, what's his face? The scary guy was kind of scary.
All right, well, hang on a second. Krim, I need you to nod or shake. I need a yes or no. So, is what you're about to type going to stop Akiri from going up on the roof? Or is she going to end up on the roof? And your camera froze, so I don't know whether it's a yes or no. Yes or no, is she going to end up on the roof in a minute? Just type yes or no.
Her Discord might be out right now.
Well, do it in Roll20 then. Which might also be out.
Well, if her Discord is out, she can't hear you.
Oh.
Oh, she's typing.
Okay.
She can hear us.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, the answer is yes.
Okay, I'm not seeing any messages, so I will say okay. So Akiri, make a perception roll for me, please.
A perception roll. Oh, okay. Six.
Okay, got it. Equitus, back to you. Make a perception roll, please.
All right.
Okay.
We're so good at
You
this.
make your way back to the Mellow Eel Tavern.
Okay.
And you go inside. You're already getting familiar with some of the people. There's the two women arguing at the end of the trestle table, the long table. There's a couple of people at the bar that you recognize already, drinking, even though it's only like one, or it's actually only about noon at this point. You walk past. You walk in, and Drago Evans, fluttering the fan in front of his half-elven face, looks up and says, "Oh, if you're looking for your friends, they've taken a room for the day toward the back, the last available room."
I nod at him and walk back towards that room.
All right. And he says, "We've got an excellent lunch available today." Fluttering the fan in front of his face.
I'm just walking to the room.
Okay. Yar and Mavra and Bref. Bref, you are hearing sounds as smells. So you smell the stench of footsteps approaching the outside door. Yar and Mavra, you hear this. Are you there, Yar? Okay, yeah.
Yes. Let me check on that. And Yar walks up to the door and like opens it slightly. He still has a sword drawn because he's a little on edge. So he opens the door a little bit and kind of peeks his long turtleneck and to look and see who's there.
Equitus.
And my hands are up, and I like, look, the Gesh is gone. I don't want to kill that Fitzuel anymore. It's gone. I'm just here to help Bref.
Well, did you run into Bella and oh, come in, of course. And he moves back and then he opens the door and he's like, did you run into Bella and Cordy? They were heading off to the library to find a solution to your problem.
No, I came straight back here. Oh, let me move my...
Wait, you didn't kill him, did you?
No, I did not go anywhere near him. I went somewhere else. But the long and the short of it is that, I mean, I'll tell everybody everything, but I have gotten rid of the Gesh for me, and I have a way to get rid of it for Bref also.
I see. Well, we should probably gather the others before we do anything else.
And I look over at Bref, and I can see how he's out of it.
Oh, it's probably pretty obvious. I don't know what's going on with you, Bref.
And I asked them how long is he going to be like this? Because if we can get him,
Equitus, your voice smells like cinnamon.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah. Cordy said that he should be under for quite a while, and
Okay.
I would really feel more comfortable moving forward if we got the others involved.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I think that we ought to. We can wait for them, but I think that we ought to give ourselves enough time to go do what we need to do while he's under, whether we meet them or not. But let's go find. I'll go try to find them.
Well,
Mavra can confirm this next week, but she did tell me before the session that seeing the Gesh gone. Wow, that's some lightning.
Oh, I saw that lightning in the window behind you, man.
She would believe that Equitas was telling the truth and would be happy to help with whatever the plan is.
Okay.
Good to know.
Well, I think maybe the best plan would be, I think that I would be able to convince everybody else that we could get rid of this for Bref if they could see that it was gotten rid of from me, as long as they don't kill me as soon as they see me.
Right, which is why I think it would be best if I went to go get everyone, because depending on where, I do not think it would be too much to assume that some of our companions went to go defend the philanthropist you were supposed to kill. So
okay.
We don't want you to get we don't want you to get shot on sight. Is me points.
All right,
so
that makes sense. That makes sense. I'll stay here with Bref, and if one of you want to stay with me here, then
I'll go ahead and I'll be truth be told, I've really been keen on seeing this library, so I'll go and see if I can get Bella and Cordy, and then we can discuss where perhaps the others are. So I will be on my way, and you two, there's some more rope in case he tries to break free, but the impression I got from Cordy is that he should be under for quite some time.
All right.
But time is of the essence.
Be as quick as you can, yeah.
Indeed. And he hobbles out of the room and makes his way towards the library, which I'm assuming he knows where it is by now. Like, he knows what it looks like. It's a big, weird, floaty building.
You really can't miss it.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to go ahead and move him. He is moving to the library to get Bella and Cordy.
Okay. You're going to spot them at the library. Now, is there anything I need to handle with you, Equitas, right now?
No, I'm gonna stay with Bref for a little while anyway. Eventually, I'm going to have to hightail it with him if they don't come back. But yeah.
Bref, you're seeing this weird double now, as the ghostly images of your sea brothers are merging with these newer friends of yours. As they come in and out of the room and in and out of the room, they're kind of like overlaid on top of one another, like superimposed images.
It's getting too crowded in here.
Okay. So I didn't need
Buddy, I'm gonna make sure that Bref has enough water, and I'm gonna take care of him.
You didn't realize how much your tongue felt like sandpaper until that sweet, sweet seawater hits it. It's not really seawater, but that's what it tastes like to him.
Oh.
Yar goes to the library. We'll jump back to that in a minute. Now, Krim, are you able to type a message, and in what channel are you doing it?
I can talk right now.
Talk fast. Go while we have you.
Okay.
What are you doing? You said you were kind of like getting Akiri's attention, it sounded like to me. She was flying up to the roof.
Look, Akiri, I need to get new clothes. I need to, I'm worried about, being identified. Like, I need to cover myself.
Okay, just give me, like, 1 second. I want to see... Because, listen, I don't really like Fitzy well either, okay? So I just want to check one thing, and I'll be right back. I promise. Okay.
Okay.
So she's gonna fly up to the roof, approximately where Fitziwell's office is, and cast Detect Evil and Good. And because it has a 30-degree it has a 30-foot radius, and see if she can get a feel for what's going on in there.
Okay. So she's casting it while standing on the roof?
Yep.
And what is the spell again? Detect Evil and Good.
Yeah, it's in chat.
Okay. I have to look something up. You guys aren't looking at the stream right now, right?
No.
Nope.
I'm terrified now.
I have it open, but I'm not. It's minimized.
Yeah,
I don't actually look at it.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Alright. You're not getting any pings.
Okie doke. Like, at all?
You are not sensing any aberrations, celestials, elementals, fae, fiends, or undead within 30 feet of your current position.
Okie doke.
Although, of course, keep in mind it is blocked by certain things.
Okay. I think you're just gonna do like a quick pass up and down and around the building real quick, just to see if anything else pings.
Okay. It's so quick you almost miss it. Ping. As you swoop around the building.
I'm gonna land where I felt it and sit real quick. Just
That's the thing. It's not in the Roadheart General Store.
okay. Also, is it like a good thing or a bad thing?
That's not what the spell tells you. You sense that there is a fae within 30 feet of you, outside of the Roadheart General Store.
Can I go towards it?
You certainly can. But remember I said it just was a flash. You felt
Right.
it. You felt it right here.
I'm gonna head that way, and I'm hoping Krim sees me land out there.
Okay, Krim.
Actually, I'll
think
yell
you
at her.
see her.
Krim, come here.
Okay.
And then I'll start. I'll land and start looking around to see if I notice anything or if anything pings again.
Make an investigation roll. Krim, I can't hear you. Are you typing in some channel that I'm not looking at?
She's typing on Discord at the moment.
Where in Discord?
I think in the off topic.
That is not the right place. Are you sure?
She was, and then it stopped.
Okay, we'll assume for the moment that Krim is coming to look with you. Ah, I'm following her. Can't talk, we'll try again. Okay. Yeah, I don't really check Discord chat while we're jamming, guys. Okay, what's the investigation roll? 8?
Yeah.
You look around, there's really nothing there. There's scrub, it's all like kind of brown in the winter. There's a few bugs running around.
I'm gonna turn to Krim and be like, "Huh, I felt something weird over here. There's nothing weird in where Fitziwell is. So I think he's an okay guy. But I don't know. I felt like there was a fae or something in this area, but I don't see anything. I don't know. That was weird.
I don't know, and I would like to interrogate Fitziwell some more. It's just not being able to cast Zone of Truth on him or detect thoughts is kind of frustrating.
Okay.
I mean,
But
I could cast it and then we could go inside.
just, does it cast, if you cast it on the roof, does it cast just on the roof, or would it cast, like, inside the building?
It's a sphere.
It might not go around corners. So it might be blocked by the roof. But if you put the text in chat, then we'll know more.
It looks like it's a 15-foot radius sphere centered on a point of your choice within range, with a duration of 10 minutes.
I guess I'd allow it to work in this case, because I don't want to spend too much time on it.
But, like, I was thinking I'd cast it on, like, myself, I guess, as the, point of my choice within range. And,
no, it can't move. Once you cast
it
it's going to stay in that spot.
Dang it. Alright, never mind. It was a good thought, though.
Do you want to go in and, do you want to go up on the roof, cast it, and then go in and interrogate him again, or do we want to... I'm a little bit worried about being separated from the group this long, and I could care less right now about, guarding Fitziwell.
Yeah, he does seem pretty well guarded, doesn't he?
Yeah, that, and it doesn't seem like a quietus is coming. I don't know where he went, but...
Yeah. Alright, let's go back to everyone else. And
you can hear Fitziwell kind of speaking in a kind of droning voice from inside the general store. He's dictating letters to some other employee, conducting his business.
Can I listen in, see if anything interesting is going on? Just real quick.
Make a perception roll.
Oh boy, my favorite roll. 21.
21. With your brief listen, seems mostly to be pretty dull stuff to you. He's talking about shipments of rope, and you know, various business terms that Akiri would honestly not even be in one ear out the other. But you do hear about one interesting thing, which is that apparently he's had an offer to purchase one of his paintings and is considering it. And it sounds like he said 15,000 pieces of gold, but surely that can't be right.
Did Krim? I think I'm going crazy.
Yes.
But I just heard 15,000 pieces of gold coming out of Fitzywell's mouth.
Well, we can ask him for that as a reward later. So, I think we should get going.
Maybe we can ask him for a painting or something. And then she goes off.
True.
Let's go back to the inn and join up with the other guys.
Okay. Do you fly back or walk back?
Nah, I walked back with Krim. The first time flying there was just to like get there as fast as I could.
Well, you guys still attract a bit of notice, but not nearly as much.
And I'm going to tell Akiri that, you know, I need to get close sooner rather than later, but right now let's head back to the inn. Like,
Yeah,
it's one
we'll
of the
go
things I
shopping
need to
sometime.
do.
Maybe we'll go shopping tomorrow. As soon as we figure out what's wrong with Equitas and Breath.
Okay.
We'll go shopping. Promise.
Alright, so you guys return to the Mellow Eel Tavern. How long did you stand guard before doing so?
I don't know.
I don't think it would have been
Probably,
very
like-
long, like 10 minutes.
Oh, you only
Yeah,
waited
just
like
a-
10 minutes to see if he would attack?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I wouldn't have.
like 15,
I wouldn't
20
have had
minutes,
much
maybe. Half an hour at the most.
Okay.
After seeing the bodyguard, I thought he was well enough guarded. I wouldn't have had much patience.
Okay.
That and Aquitas didn't seem to be.
Okay. All right. Yar, you are in the library, and it's not going to be too hard for you to pick out the somewhat filthy friends you made in the tavern, as they are conducting research, looking at books, etc. You also see, scrolled away in a corner, his beak buried in another book, is a seagull-like man wearing armor and with without the big bow you're accustomed to seeing him carrying around.
Yara will walk over to Sezik and just say hi really quick. So he's gonna walk over and say,
Hey, I thought I might find you here.
Keep your voice down, boy.
Hey, right, sorry. I just wanted to come say hello.
Library.
You're quite right. I just wanted to come say hello very quickly. I'm afraid I've not much time to chit chat, but it's good to see you.
It's nice to see you too. The dwarf that always accompanies him comes up with an armload of books and stands by silently.
Oh, good to see you too.
Snorri nods, without saying anything.
If you're still around later, I believe I have a new friend who would be, very, very excited to meet you. But, I'm afraid I'll have to introduce her later, as, I'm in a bit of a rush. But, it was good to see you too. I hope I run into you again soon.
Keep your wits about you, Yar. He goes back to studying or researching.
Always. And so Yar goes to speak to Bella first, and as soon as he comes up to her, he whispers, he says quietly, it's like, Bella, Equitas has returned to the Eel Tavern, and he claims two things. One, he has not gone anywhere near his target, and two, he has found a way to remove the Gish. In fact, he showed us his palms, and he no longer has the mark on him.
What?
I know, I was very surprised myself. He did not tell me where he'd gone. I did not think it... Well, regardless, he believes he's found a way to remove it for breath as well, but given the, well... I feel uncomfortable about this whole situation, and I felt it would be best if we were all present before making a decision. But he did seem like he was in a bit of a hurry to do whatever he was planning on doing with breath. So we probably want to gather the others as soon as possible to hear what he has to say. He claims he will explain everything once we're all together. So I feel time is of the essence, as we do not know how much longer breath will be under the influence of Cordy's powder. And I saw what he did to my ropes, and I'd hate to see him do that to any of us in order to get to his prey. So we might want to get a move on. Do you have any idea where Curls and sorry, Krim, this voice is hard to do, and Krim, where they might have gone?
Yes, they were heading, if I recall correctly, they were heading to the store to hopefully intercept Aquitas. I mean, we assumed that he was going for Fitzywell. Do you know your way there?
Max, would I have been here long enough to know where the Roadheart General Store is?
Sure.
Okay. Yes. I'll hit that way presently, and I'll try to get in touch with the girls. I would get back to the inn as soon as possible, though. I wouldn't want Equitas to do something rash.
All right. Well, this might have been a waste of an afternoon, but at least I have a list of books, just in case Aquitas is wrong. Maybe we can get to the bottom of this. I'll get Cordy and we'll head back to the inn.
I could think of worse places to waste an afternoon. This place is incredible. If I didn't have to rush, I'd like to stay a little longer. But I'll see if I can intercept Krim and Akiri, and we'll meet you at the tavern.
All right, I'll go and find I'll go and find Cordy and say, I'll summarize it and just basically say we need to go back to the inn. Apparently Aquitas cured himself and didn't murder anybody, which sounds very suspicious to me.
But I feel if the death of a very influential person in this town had actually occurred, we would have heard about it by now. So I think there is truth to his claim.
He might have, I mean, well, we won't argue, like, murder.
Of course. I'll go find the girls, and I'll meet you at the tavern.
All right.
And you
we start heading back?
He looks down his peg leg, and he goes, I don't know if I've moved this quickly in quite a long time, since I was a wee lad, since I had both my legs.
Well, if you want to take Cordy back to the inn, I can go to the...
I feel I feel I was getting tired of sitting in that stuffy place. I could use some moving around. So we'll meet you at the tavern.
All right.
And he very quickly hobbles, like, surprisingly fast. You get the sense he's gotten used to this leg. He's pretty good at the moving on this leg. Moves out of the library and towards the store, which I'm assuming I'm probably going to run into them halfway.
You will. So I guess everyone's ending up back at the Mellow Eel.
I think so.
All right.
As Cordy leaves the library, just gonna glance again at the thing she looked at and saw herself in, and just kind of look at her reflection sad, like with a sad expression, and then walk out of the library.
Okay. You are able to retrieve, actually, Yar, when you entered the library, you also had your weapons ripped away from you by the magic.
That's a lot of pointy things to go flying around.
Mm-hmm. You guys are able to retrieve your items without issue, though. And you make your way back to the Mellow Eel. With all this rushing back and forth across town, I think by now it's about 2 o'clock. Bong bong. So you all gather in the Mellow Eel. Drogo, kind of fanning himself furiously and wrinkling his nose as you guys come tramping in, is just like, might I suggest that you take a second room, perhaps, if you're going to accommodate so many. Oh, we actually have one opening up just next door.
We probably won't be that much longer, but if you want to, would you just send some sandwiches or something quick down the hall for us? And I slip him, like, a couple gold pieces?
How many?
Didn't we Goodberry before we did all this?
Oh, right, we did, didn't we? Alright, then I'll just ask him for...
the food, but it might refresh you anyhow.
Yeah, I'll buy some lunch. I'll slip him 3 gold pieces.
Okay, mark that off. He kind of bounces the coins in his palm. Of course, some refreshments will be provided. And perhaps you would like a few ewers of water and washcloth as well.
That would be wonderful. Thank you so much.
Sally, he goes, calls the girl, and that is sent to the room with you guys. So you are all packed into this room, which is really not meant for 8 people, in the Mellow Eel Tavern. You're all there.
As soon as everybody starts coming in, as soon as the first person started to come in, I've got my hands up to show them to show that I'm not going for my weapons. Not that my weapons are the most powerful thing I have anyway, but also to show that the gesh is gone from the palm of my hand.
Your hands are shaking slightly, though.
Yeah, they probably are.
You feel a little weak.
I'm by that. I'm like, guys, everybody, it's gone. I don't want to kill Fitzdale anymore. And before this happened, you know that if I said anything about not wanting to kill Fitzdale, it would have hurt. I would feel sick right now. Now, I don't feel great right now, but that's because of some other things. But the gesh is gone, and I can help I can help Bref get rid of it too. We can get rid of it in the next half hour. It'll be gone.
Can I roll it?
Oh,
sorry. Can I roll an insight check to see if he's telling the truth about that it's gone? Like, he's giving the impression that it's a permanent thing. Can I do an insight check to see if he's telling the truth?
You can.
12?
You sense that, as far as you can tell, he seems like he believes he's telling the truth. And you never really understood this curse he was under anyway.
Sounds good, okay.
Hey, can I do you guys one better and throw up a zone of truth real quick?
I mean, are you asking that like in character?
Kind of in character, kind of out of character. I'm curious throwing up zone.
Okay.
So
So you guys feel the magical force of Zhurk's will.
Akira, your voice smells like mint.
Amazing.
Thanks, Brev.
Does a 17 beat your spells thingy?
Apparently my spell save is only a 15, so yeah.
I can still lie.
It's mostly aimed at Equitus, but
To
yeah.
roll in secret, you can do /GM roll.
I'm not gonna try to roll. Which save is it?
Charisma.
Oh, whew,
I would prefer that you roll in secret.
Oh, you would prefer? Okay, that's fine.
/GM roll 1d20, and then I can look up.
Okay, /GM roll 1d20 plus my modifier. And by the way, my modifier is pretty good.
Would
unrecognized command
isn't enough to resist this at all?
Yeah. Oh, you know whether each creature succeeds or fails. Oh, well then I don't need the rolls in secret after all.
Oh, well.
I didn't see that line.
Do you want me to roll again, or do you want
Nope,
to take that
fine.
one? Okay.
Let's do it.
Breath failed.
Breath failed, Equitus failed. Despite having a very strong personality. Was that 2 natural 20s in a row?
I think so. Dude, we rolled literally the same thing. Holy cow.
That's amazing.
So the 2 people with +6s failed, and the 2 people with +0s succeeded.
Nice.
You guys are served some cucumber sandwiches and some light drinks.
And Zone of Truth is okay. I was just gonna make sure it was in chat, okay? Because obviously I gotta know what happens when I fail it.
As the mint juleps are passed around, some of you are going to be compelled to speak the truth. The serving woman leaves, and you are alone. Well, with all 8 of you.
Equitus, you said ye were going to tell us about what happened and how you came across this cure for your curse. So do you mind explaining to the rest of us exactly what happened and how you came about this? Because you said that you actually went straight for this solution as opposed to going to your targets. So I'm mighty curious as to what exactly you did.
Yes, and I would like to say, I am 100% done with all of this shadiness. There are way too many secrets going on around this whole situation. We didn't even know that you were trying to murder somebody for an extremely long time, and I'm sorry, you are extremely good looking for a red person, but I do not trust you. What the fuck is coming out of my mouth right now?
All right.
Oh, Sorry.
He is very good looking.
And,
his face feels like silk breath. You're still experiencing synesthesia.
So, I don't mind telling you the truth at all. I mean, it's not... The only reason why I've been maybe a little reticent up till now is because the truth in this case is pretty dangerous, or it could be. When I left here, I went back to that cabin where we were earlier, and I got help from the person who actually that cabin isn't really just a cabin. It's sort of a temple. You might think of it sort of as to the people, to the creature that the people that I come from that they follow. And I knew that when we went there, the second we got in there, it was obvious. And so I knew, I had a feeling that I might be able to get help. Because even though when I left there, it wasn't on the best of terms, to be honest with you, if these people, if he didn't want me to leave, I wouldn't have been able to. So obviously he wants me around for some reason.
Wait, who is he?
He is the Shadow. I think I've mentioned him before.
Oh, right. That guy. Wait,
and you say he's a creature? What type of creature are we talking about?
Honestly, I don't know.
I don't mean to claim that I'm an expert on any of this, but I don't think it is any secret that Equitus is a tiefling, right?
Mm-hmm.
That tieflings have infernal influence on their bloodline. Do you mean, lad, that you speak of a demon, devil, some form of fiend, when you mention this being, this creature?
I am sure he is some sort of devil, some sort of fiend. Yes, but I mean that's a big, that's like saying that. I mean there's that there are lots of fiends, and there are some that are. I mean we've killed fiends since I've met you.
Aye, lad. It's also not uncommon knowledge that all such creatures are hopelessly evil, and I'm getting the sense that I'm a bit concerned of what exactly you did and what this temple you speak of afforded you as far as healing goes.
Evil? Yeah, yes. He's probably very, very evil. Yeah. And when I was growing up, I was probably what you would consider pretty evil myself. But, I mean, although really among the people that I grew up with, I was probably considered pretty tame. But
who did you grow up with? Where did you come from?
It was just a group of religious people who all worshipped this this person, this entity, the shadow.
So, like a cold, maybe, kind of?
Yeah, that's probably accurate.
Oh.
But I left, which is odd. And you should be suspicious. I would be. But all I can ask is that you take me on face value. I know, the Gesh thing notwithstanding, I don't think I've tried anything horrible.
Just to interject really quick, Paul, make sure you're reading the chat on Roll20, because Krim
Oh,
is
my
trying to
bad.
ask questions.
Oh, I'm so bad. I'm so sorry.
No, it's easy to forget. Just make sure to read there.
Okay. Well, as far as why I associate with him, I left. As far as why I went back tonight, I knew that that was the quickest way to take care of the Gesh problem. And the name, I don't know, that we didn't really have much of a name. It was I guess you could call us the Cult of the Shadow.
The Acolytes.
The Acolytes of the Shadow. Why did I leave? That's another story altogether. It was I mean, look, I don't mind telling you why I left. I don't mind telling you everything I know about this cult. I don't. But we need to talk about what we're going to do with Breath.
Wait, Equitas, are you under the zone of truth?
Yes.
Okay, just curious.
Yeah, but he doesn't have to like say anything.
Yeah, I can choose not to answer, but if I answer, you can think. Yeah, and that's the way I read it.
Yeah,
Right.
it doesn't compel you to say anything, but what you speak
Right.
must be the truth if you failed your save.
Okay.
As long as you're in the range.
Okay, if you want me to answer the question. Okay. I always knew something was wrong. And he is a dick. I always knew something was wrong. The group took somebody that was very important to me. And when I was very young. And then that they noticed after that I wasn't exactly the most that I wasn't the biggest fan of the cult after that. I mean, I did what they told me to do, but they knew that my heart wasn't in it. And this all came to a head. And one night I told someone that I thought I could trust what I felt about what was going on among the group. And then next morning I'd been betrayed, and I was anyway, I was thrown in a place that you don't want to be put. Eventually I got away from there, and I'm on the run right now from that. Hadn't really had anything to do with it again until tonight, or today. And that's pretty much everything. They don't really have to follow me. I I mean, if he wants to find me, if he wants me dead, I'm dead. Honestly, you were in trouble the minute you met me, but now that you know all this, who knows? I mean, who knows? But what I'm saying is, he got rid of this for me, and he told me he would do the same for Breath. All we have to do is take him back to that abandoned cabin. And I know that's suspicious. I know it is. If you've got a better idea, please, let's do it that way. But this will get rid of it. And he's out right now. We can take him there right now easily.
Well, Bella, did you find anything at the library that might help?
I didn't have a lot of time, but the one thing I will say is that it turns out that the we found was actually sort of valuable, and so now the head librarian owes me a favor, and she thinks she might be able to get rid of the Gesh for Breath. I was supposed to take him there after the library closes once she's done with work for the day.
Well, there we go, Equitas. That sounds like a better idea.
If that will fix it, that is a much better idea. And to answer Krim's question, are we taking him to the Shadow or his acolytes? In this case, the answer is both, sort of at the same time.
Based on my experience with the mushroom powder, do I know how much longer it's going to last with Breath?
Well, with you, it lasted pretty much an entire day. You kind of took it in the morning and woke up in the evening.
I've always been like this.
You're not sure with Breath's extremely strong constitution whether he might metabolize it faster than you.
Can I do some kind of like medicine check
Absolutely.
or something on him? Just if okay.
Yes, you can examine him to try and figure out how it's going through his system. Wow.
20, not natural.
Well, this discussion so far has been about an hour. So it's now 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You think it's starting to... He's starting to process the toxins. And the drug is the powdered mushroom is working its way through his system quite quickly. And he should be coming out of it and back to the totally rational Breath that we all know and love. Probably in less than an hour.
Great.
Alright, so I think we have to make a decision about what we're doing sooner than later, because I think we only have an hour at most.
Cordy, do you have any other doses?
We can re-drug him. I don't know what we want to do. If we want to do that again, that's an option. It just kind of depends on what you guys want to do. If you guys are okay with continuing to drug him like this.
God, I hate doing this to Brev.
I mean, he seems extremely happy.
He does, but we've taken that choice away from him, and I hate that. But the Gesh did it first. I think that the safest route is to go if you can get this done at the library. Obviously.
Let me go back and see if I can talk her into coming sooner rather than later. If I tell her it's urgent.
I might be able to help you convince her of that.
All right, come along.
right.
Yeah, I suppose having a witness of the severity of it might help.
Okay.
All right, so yeah, you come to the library with me, and we'll see if we can get her back here within the hour. It's not that far of a walk, so should in theory be doable.
Okay. All right, let's go.
So,
Let's book it.
could you describe exactly what you're doing, please?
I'm pretty sure I'm becoming one with all that is.
Okay, so to be clear, you guys are picking up the drugged breath who is babbling about the way things smell or feel that don't make sense. Tied up fully with rope.
Mavra is
No,
having
no.
We're not
Wait.
moving breath. We're not moving breath. We're just Bella and I are going, or we're running as fast as we can, probably to the library to talk to. I didn't write her name down. Library woman, but just Bella and I.
Linnell, I think.
Iadel, the head librarian.
Iadel, right.
Okay, so while they're running across, what are the rest of you doing? Just hanging out? Eating the cucumber sandwiches? Sorry?
I just want to monitor breath, like,
Okay.
pretty actively. What's going on?
He's slowly starting to come out of it. Bit longer though. Bit longer. Equitus and Bella, please make perception rolls.
I can't roll for crap tonight.
Equitus, you're charging across the square without looking to either side. Bella, you notice a pair of Arkne guard kind of get up as you from where they were leaning against the wall as you guys leave the tavern, and kind of walk at a respectful distance behind the two of you.
Okay. I'll kind of say Aquinas, hold on a second. And I'll turn around and say, "Good evening, officers. Can we help you with something?"
I'll stop and turn around and kind of stand right behind her, as tall as I can.
Mm-hmm. One is a male half-orc, and the other is a human man. And they're holding their big crossbows. Kind of look at each other. It's, the half-orc kind of walks up closer, and he says, he's very fat. He kind of pushes at the limits of the chain, or actually scale mail that he's wearing. And he kind of has this blonde crew cut over his orcish head, half-orcish head. And he says, "Any trouble here, Miss and Sir? You got you look like you've traveled a long way, and just wondering if you need any assistance."
Nope. We're just going to do some more research at the library. We did travel a very long way because we heard of your remarkable library here, and, it's nothing like it in the rest of the Wildlands that I've ever heard of. So we came to spend a few days getting our fill of research.
Yeah, very many books, of course. That's, yeah. Well, that's good to hear. We were a mite worried with all the rushing about that's been going on.
Oh, I see. No, we have a friend who is, he's got a room at the tavern and he's not feeling well, so we were rushing back to check on him and all of that. But he's fine. Our other friends are with him, so my friend and I are heading back to the library to finish up the research we were doing.
Oh, well then perhaps you would like to call Dr. Joran. He's just up the road that way.
Are we being detained, or are we just,
No, of course not. What gave you that idea? You said your friend wasn't well.
No, I mean, we have a trained cleric that we're traveling with. She's got the situation well at hand.
Well, nonetheless, Dr. Joran is the best, so you might want to call upon him if your friend isn't feeling well. But that's nice to hear about your cleric friend. Is she also, staying at the Mellow Eel?
Oh, we're going to be moving to Clayton's Lodge for the night. It's a little bit more affordable.
Ah, I see.
I'm going to step up and I'm going to say, well, thank you very much, officer. And I'm going to kind of put my hand on Bella's shoulder and I'm going to start kind of walking away.
Oh, no need for
towards the library.
Just doing our jobs here. They continue following you.
Keeping us safe. Thank you for your service.
They continue following you as you thank them and head into the library.
I tell Aquitas, don't be alarmed. The walls are gonna suck all your weapons off of you.
That's all right. They can have my weapons.
Rippling scroll walls pull all of your weaponry from your person and sticks it to the wall.
All right, so where is this Iodale?
She's right this way. I lead him back to the office where she was. And I would like to say just quickly, by the way, what I said back in the room, I do trust you. I just feel like we need to get some things out in the open about all of the cults and stuff. You understand. I didn't mean that as a general blanket statement about your personal character. I just meant, the demon cult.
No, I understand. You probably should have suspicions. Like I said, that's totally understandable. You said a lot of interesting things back there.
Well, I just didn't want there to be any misunderstandings.
Yeah. No.
But I'm glad you answered the questions. I feel a lot better about it. It was starting to get, honestly, sort of alarming.
No, I understand. You just please believe me when I say that I'm just trying to keep everybody safe.
I understand. I guess that's kind of how demon cults work.
I wish I didn't know, but yeah. I wish, yeah.
All right, so I take him back to the head librarian's office and I knock on the door.
She agrees to see you, as one who she greatly wishes to reward and honor. But she is definitely in the midst of something. She looks up at you with these enormous glasses magnifying her eyes. And says, "Oh, hello. You guys definitely feel, like you stick out here. You stick out. But with the state of your travel, but she kind of looks you over and says, "Is there something that I can help you with?"
Yes. I am so sorry to bother you, and I know you're extremely, extremely busy, but if you could just spare a few minutes for us. Turns out that maybe the Gesh situation is a little bit more urgent than we thought.
Urgent?
Yes. So, here's the thing. Do you mind if I shut the door?
No. She sets a letter free, which goes flying off. And out of a window.
Okay. So, right. So I shut the door behind us, and I say... I walk up, closer to her. I say, all right, so my friend who had the Gesh on his hand, this is one of them. He's better now. But we don't need to get into that right now. The other one has still got the Gesh on his hand. He's kind of a big, strong, strapping fellow. And
killing machine.
And we kind of have him restrained, but according to our medical experts who are traveling with us, that's probably not going to last longer than about an hour or so, at which point he will try to bust down everything in his path in order to fulfill the requirements of this Gesh. And so I was wondering if there's any way that you could clear a small fraction of time out of your extremely busy schedule over the next hour in order to maybe come and help save some lives. And I'm going to try and make a persuasion check as I give her my most persuasive smile.
Normally I would call for a persuasion check, but sure, go ahead.
Well,
wanted to.
She says, "This sounds dangerous. I'm not sure that it doesn't sound like I can safely go anywhere near this man."
You can for the next hour.
Right. I am certainly willing to help you out. And the library is only too eager to grant you this boon. And
I'm going to stand up, and I'm going to stand up to my full height, and I'm going to say, look, listen, here's the thing. A man is going to die. It's guaranteed. This man will die. He will stop at nothing to kill an innocent blind man who does nothing but help this community. And unless you want to be responsible for that, and I don't think you do, then you need to help us, and you need to help us now. We do not have the time for you to sit here and do whatever it is that you do here. I understand that we are responsible for this library getting a one-of-a-kind book. Is that right? Is that what I've heard?
Yes.
Then you owe us. You owe us this, at the very least. You owe us, I believe, that this book, if I'm to understand, it's pretty much priceless. So, but you know what? We'll cut you a deal. You do this, you get rid of this little thing for us, and it's perfectly safe. We'll call it.
Please don't call the police.
All right. What's perfectly safe? Oh, you mean I'll be safe?
You're right. We can make sure of that.
Make a persuasion check with disadvantage.
With advantage?
Disadvantage.
Disadvantage?
Not intimidation?
I don't think he's intimidating her. Is that what that was meant to be? It sounded more like persuasion to me.
Yeah, I guess I could go with that.
But Bella already had a very low, well, not that low, but a lowish result. Okay. 13. She says, well, I did agree that the library would grant you one boon. So, yes, fine. Let's go now. She puts her quill down, kind of pushes some papers aside, gets up from the desk, kind of hefts her uniform, says, "Come on," and actually one of the walls slides open soundlessly, and you walk down some stairs that appear under her feet as she walks, and you kind of go out this side entrance.
Amazing.
Side exit.
Nice.
All right. Meanwhile, back at the tavern. Bref. The drugs finally wear off. The shimmering forms of your ship brothers, your sea brothers, fade from view, though not from memory. You're blinking and looking around, and the room is full of your friends. You remember the past few hours, but it's a little weird and hazy, and you feel this tug in your hand as you're all tied up.
So, wow, yep, things smell funny, and I'm gonna try and break out of the ropes.
All right, make a strength check. You guys are gonna see him do this, but you aren't gonna be able to react until he's already made the attempt. Should be a strength check, not a strength save.
Oh, sorry.
But it doesn't matter.
I even thought, and then I thought, yep.
It's just -2.
Yeah.
He strains, but the ropes hold this time.
Okay, I don't know how much Yar weighs, but seeing what's going on, I think Yar is just gonna, because he's seen what this guy can do. Yeah, no, Yar is just gonna walk up to this guy and just like lay on top of him, like just put all of his torch on top of this guy and put all four like down on the ground, kind of root, like dig his claws, because he has claws, into the floor, and just kind of like root himself there, and be like, do we have any more of them? That mushroom dust. I don't know how long I can hold down this mighty fellow.
A murder!
Okay. You guys are all watching this. Bref, you are being crushed and you're tied. This is, I mean, a further strength check would be at a disadvantage.
I imagine I'll try one more time, but...
Okay. Oh, no!
Yep.
He makes another strain. Go ahead.
No, I feel at this point I'm probably too exhausted. Dehydrated.
Yeah. You've gotten a little water, but it has not been. Definitely heading toward exhaustion. So he lies back, defeated. As the rest of you are looking on, this turtle just plopped on top of him, crushing the mighty barbarian.
Apologies, my friend.
Just want to do a murder.
I know, I understand, but we're bringing some help for you. Oh shoot! And then he kind of like stops because he remembers what happened whenever they even mentioned something about hindering the Gesh, so he just stops talking.
Okay. All right. Shortly, a few minutes later, you guys arrive at the Mellow Eel. Ayadel strides up, and you guys see her crazy hair, her giant glasses. And she kind of walks around, kind of takes it all in and says, "Well, you're a stinky lot. Move aside. Is this him?"
Aye, lass, but I don't feel comfortable letting him up just yet.
Good. Hold him still.
He kind of gives it.
She casts a spell upon breath. And she seems to be straining. The magic working, pushing against some force. There are some kind of arcane sparks that... It didn't work. It didn't work.
Wait, what?
She says.
Oh no. Oh no, no, no. Okay.
Well, you're fortunate that I had this prepared today anyhow. I suppose I'll have to try again later. I think the magic was... well, maybe I'll... Nope, sorry, can't do it right now. Sorry. We'll try again tomorrow. She leaves. Or she turns to leave.
I'm gonna grab her.
No, wait.
You grab her. Okay.
And when I say grab, I'm gonna grab like her coat or jacket or whatever.
You grab her, and your hand, you try to grab her the edge of her her sort of uniform, her tabard.
Yeah.
And you feel there's this magical deflection that slaps your hand away, like a naughty child.
I'm gonna say, wait.
She looks over at you with the giant glasses.
Are you able to do this, or are you not?
She says, "Oh, I can do it. The library has granted you a boon, and we will follow through. But this is magic, most likely beyond even Cravius or anyone else at the library. It's strange magic. I feel like I'm trying to dispel the power of a magic item more than a person who's been cursed. It's also far... Even a regular Gesh is stronger than I can... would be able to manage myself. And this one is stronger still. It is not any small bit of arcana. She gets closer to you with each word. This is no simple thing. I hope you realize that.
Oh, we know it's no simple thing. How long will it take you to find a solution?
She says, all I can do is try again tomorrow. I don't know how long it's going to take.
Oh. Someone's gonna die. Then go. Just figure out what you have to figure out.
Well, maybe you'd better stick him in the dungeons. Lord Governor Emmond certainly has the space.
Get And I'm gonna turn around. I'm gonna walk away from her.
I think we don't have to worry about that, given that there are 7 others of us, and one of him, and he hasn't done a very good job of getting away from us so far.
Well,
I don't think that's
what you're
something we
saying
could
is
count on.
it seems like it's a magical item. It's stronger than, like, if it was a normal one, it would be stronger than you could dispel by yourself. But since it's not a normal one, it's even stronger than
She
you.
said, "I didn't say I couldn't do it. I'm going to
No,
confer with my colleagues. We'll come up with something."
Obviously, you couldn't
that's not what I
do
meant.
it. If you could do it, it'd be done. Go figure out how to do it.
Right. Well, regardless, even if we get rid of it, listen, perhaps I could talk to all of you together tomorrow, and I'll bring someone else with me. Someone who I think is going to have a vested interest in hearing what we have to say. Would it be possible to set aside, like, a meeting time where everyone who might be able to help with this situation would be able to hear it straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak?
Certainly.
Now that we're talking horses.
It speaks.
Uh-huh.
Look, I have things I need to attend to. I've already interrupted them. I told you, you were lucky that I had the spell prepared today anyway.
Obviously,
I
we
really
weren't.
appreciate you using it on us.
She says, "I will confer with my colleagues. We will come up with a solution. It may take some time. It may take a few days. But we will rid him of this curse." And I do not say that lightly.
Well,
Now, yes?
thank you very much for everything that you've done so far, and for everything that you're willing to try to do to help with this situation. We do really appreciate the level of effort that it requires. We traveled all the way here from Turin specifically to seek out the library in hopes that
Tell that to your red friend.
He's just feeling low blood sugar.
What?
He hasn't had much to eat today. Aquitas, go eat a sandwich.
I'm not even paying attention. I'm fuming.
Don't pay any attention to him. He's just it's a grouchy man. But thank you very much, and I'll stop in tomorrow and see if you have any time available.
It is only because you have been rather gracious, my dear, that I do not bring this matter to the Lord Governor immediately.
We really appreciate that. We're trying to. Oh, we're really trying to make sure that this is all resolved peaceably and to everyone's satisfaction.
I'm afraid I do feel obligated to send a message to the captain of the Arkne Guard to be on the lookout for this fellow breaking out, trying to commit a murder.
I understand.
I just do that part? That'd make it much easier.
Honestly, at this point, my friends, it might be best if we did have breath. There's no way to do this, never mind. If we had him locked up, as I can't sit on him forever, and now that we have an actual solution in the works. We can actually tell the guards that we have a plan in motion to get rid of the Gesh so that he does not have to stay in the jail indefinitely. I truly feel there is no better solution than to have him locked up in the dungeons. Otherwise, we run the risk of him escaping.
You're all being stupid.
She says, I'm leaving now. Good evening. I'll speak with you tomorrow. And she looks at Bella.
Yes, I'll see you tomorrow.
I'm off to talk to Captain Ogden.
Listen, everybody. Is she gone?
Yes.
Listen, we need to take him now. We can get rid of this now.
Okay, but what about the whole thing where we're entering into some kind of a bargain with some kind of...
The bargain has already been made. Nobody has to give up anything that hasn't already been given up.
What is he going to do to Bref? He's just going to, like...
It'll be gone.
Do you trust him?
No.
Then how do you know?
But I trust this. I trust that he made a deal. And if there's anything that he's good at, is keeping fucking deals.
Guys, read the chat, because Krim is typing.
The more we wait, we don't have enough drugs for days. And I don't like locking anybody up against their will.
Me neither.
But you would trust the word of a devil over locking him up in a jail for a few days.
I already trusted it. He's already fulfilled part of the bargain, and there's no other price to be paid. It's paid. It's done.
What did you do? What did you do in order to get him to do this for you? And
it was my price to pay, and it's paid. That doesn't matter. And plus, it's something that we can worry about that later. And I'm the only one that ultimately has to worry about it. Am I 100% positive that he won't hurt Bref? All he's going to do is get rid of the Gesh.
Okay, but getting rid of the Gesh could mean a lot of different things. He could prevent the Gesh from activating by killing Bref. He could cut off Bref's hand. There's a million different things that he could do that would fulfill his side of the bargain and still be a horrible, horrible solution.
And lad, don't be a fool. If you have to pay a price in order for this to come, if you've paid a price, if there is a deal you have struck with a demon or a devil, there is no way that this only affects you. It will affect your friends. It will affect those around you, because every decision you make affects the people around you.
Well, it's already It's already done.
Then you're a fool for doing it this way. Because it makes no sense to go and turn Bref over to this vile creature if we have a safer solution, that the price of which is only to have Bref locked up for a few days in the jail. I think he'll be fine, he says as he's like trying to hold this monster man down.
Or I could just do the murder.
I don't think this is going to end up being safe, but I'll do whatever the rest of you agree to, even though it's stupid.
Stupid was going to make a deal with the Shadow without consulting the rest of us.
All right, we're going to put it to a vote. We're going to put it to a completely democratic vote. All in favor of taking Bref to the cabin and having the Shadow remove the Gesh, raise your hand.
Mavra raises her hand.
Cordy raises her hand.
Equitas is raising his hand, obviously.
I don't really have the capacity to raise my hand right now, but even if I could, I wouldn't.
All right, and everybody in favor of locking Breath up and waiting it out until the wizards are able to come up with something, raise your hand.
Carrie raises hers.
I'll just say aye, because, holding down the monster man. No, he raises his tail. His tail goes up.
This could be over in half an hour. And nobody is worse than they are right now.
Yes, but Equitas, listen, we don't know what's going to happen.
Bref, in case you're wondering, it is possible for you to express an opinion on this matter.
Yeah, my opinion is I want to do the murder.
Okay.
Look, it's not about trusting the Shadow. It's about leveraging the power that he has. Of course I don't trust him. Plus, any kind of deal that we make with the Shadow, we may end up finding that it is a very good thing that we have someone that has some sort of into that organization one day.
Look, you're not still in the zone of truth, and we can't make you tell it, but I am asking you to please tell us what you promised the Shadow in order to get him to do this for you.
I told him that I would follow him.
Like, go back to the cult?
I don't think he's asking me to go anywhere. I think he just wants my assurance that I am still a follower of the Shadow and that I'll do what he says. He hasn't asked me to do anything specific. Except whatever he says.
Okay, at this point, Yar stands up, puts his not peg leg foot on Breath's chest, and kind of gets all up in Equitus's face.
And what, pray tell, did you think? How do you not think that won't have negative consequences on people other than yourself? That you have pledged your services to a devil or demon? What idiot notions do you have, boy, that this is a good idea in any way, shape, or form? Tell me one reason right now that we should lock you up and leave you to rot in the jail for what you've done.
Make perception rolls, please.
Everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't see diddly squat.
Same.
Cordy and Krim, you both notice Bref straining, flexing. And then there's a loud snap, which you all can hear.
I turn into a bear.
Like
And
Fury
I hug
has
Bref.
Bane.
Okay. She's turning into a bear. The cleric is casting Bane. Bref, what are you doing? Snap.
I'm going to go into a rage and try and smash out the window again.
Okay, so Bref gets up, the veins popping out of his face, and runs over to the window to smash it. Go ahead and make a save against Bane first.
Hi, Rosie.
I saved.
Fail.
Krim, you
Spell
cannot
save.
take an action yet. You failed the save. Okay. So on your strength roll, as all of this craziness is going down, you are going to take a D4 minus, looks like. You got a 20.
-2.
So, Bref smashes open the window. And then it will be roll initiative for everybody. And as Bref, roaring uncontrollably, the rage pumping through his veins, seeing red, following the tug in the palm of his hand that leads him out into the evening. That is where we're going to have to call it tonight, folks. So we will kick off next session with roll initiative. As Bref has broken open the window, snapped the ropes, broken open the window, and is about to get out into the night.
Wow. You know,
That was great.
if I had known what was going on, I would have asked for advantage on that perception roll since my foot is on his chest.
Live and learn.
That is a good point. You would have had advantage.
No,
but that would only have given you a 13.
Yeah, and I don't know how much it really matters considering he just like hulked out and just threw me off of him.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't really notice. Yeah, exactly. That's basically what happened. It's just Bref in all of his absolute physical power.
I mean, I was kind of squirming and lightly struggling the whole time. It was only when you stood up I was like, oh, hey, I should try again.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Rosie.
Well, thank you all for playing. I hope you had fun. Thank you everyone for who watched, who came by the stream. Thank you to Jeremy, Emily, Paul, Alexis, Haley, Danielle, Kirsten, and Nico. You guys are all amazing players, and I hope, I hope we all can make it next week. I hope Mavra can come back, because she will probably want to do something too.
Get well soon, Mavra.
Looking forward to kicking Bref's butt.
What?
Oh, look at that little baby.
I just want to do one murder. That's all.
Honestly, I'm interested to see if he even makes it to Roadhard.
I was gonna say, you got like 8 people coming there to slam you into the ground, dude.
Well, he just snapped a rope that he was tied up in and broke open the window like it was nothing. So they may not have been exaggerated when they called him, what was it, a human juggernaut or something?
Death machine.
Death machine.
Death machine.
A juggernaut, bitch.
A human death machine. Alright, well, we're going to turn off the stream. Thank you. That was a lot of fun for me. And
good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, folks.
Bye, viewers.